Welcome to the lesson on the rules of exponents. You were taught earlier this year about the basics of what an exponent is, which is that it's repeated multiplication. Now we're going to learn how to do some different operations with those exponents. All right, there's going to be two properties or laws that we're going to learn today. The first one is the product of powers rule. This states that to multiply exponents that have the same base, you simply add the exponent. For example, here they have a to the m power times a to the n power, which means that all we need to do is add m plus n. So let's look at an example for this. So the first step is we need to make sure that my bases are the same. So in this case, yes, they are. They're both 7. So I know that my base is going to be 7. Now I'm going to take my exponents and I'm actually going to add my exponents. And so if I add my exponents, I'm going to end up with 5 different factors for the first one, 4 different factors for the second one, so 5 plus 4, which would be 9 factors at the end, so it would be 7 to the 9th power. All right. So another example, we have x to the 3rd power times x to the 5th power. We have the same base. So I'm going to end up with x and add my exponent, so 3 plus 5. So I'm going to get 8. All right. Same thing here. We have w to the 6th power times w to the 15th power. So I'm going to keep my base the same, which is w, and 6 plus 15, which is 21. Okay, now if there's a coefficient, which the number in front of the variable, for example, this 2 and this 3, we're simply going to add them together first. So in this example, I have 2x to the 5th power times 3x to the 7th power. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 3, which gets me 6. Then I have x to the 5th power times x to the 7th power. My base is going to be x. And 5 plus 7 is 12. So to the 12th power. So it's that easy. All right, so for example, in this one, we have 3 times 4 first, because I need to multiply my coefficients, which is 12. Then I'm going to get my base, which is a, add my bases up, or add my exponents up, which is going to get me 7. All right, so that's the first property of that we're going to be learning with exponents. The second one we're going to be talking about is when you are dividing exponents. To divide exponents that have the same base, you're doing the exact opposite of when you multiplied them. You're just going to subtract. Okay, so for example, in this case, we have a to the 9th power divided by a to the 5th power. 9 minus 5 is 4. I have the same base, so I'm just going to get a to the 4th power. All right, let's look at some examples. So another example here, my bases are the same, so I have f and f. So I'm going to keep f, and 8 minus 3, which is 5. Okay, same thing here. When you are given a two coefficients, you're simply going to divide the coefficients. We have 12 divided by 2, which is going to get me 6. X, 5 minus 2, which is 3. Okay, you'll often see the problem in a fraction form. For example, 15 n to the 7th over 3 n to the 4th. All you're going to do is simply divide or reduce. Sometimes it's not completely, clean where it reduces into a whole number. It'll reduce down. So 15 divided by 3 is going to get you 5. And then n to the 7th divided by n to the 4th, I'm going to subtract my exponent, so I'm going to get n to the 3rd. All right, so let's look at some more examples that you'll probably see in your work tomorrow or on the test. Okay, so a lot of the problems are going to look like this. Don't freak out, okay? So we're just going to go step by step with it, and we're just going to do a couple examples. So, for example, this first one, we have 2c to the third power times 10c to the fourth power. Multiply my coefficients. I'm going to get 20. Add my exponents because my bases are the same. So I have c. 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, look down here. I have 14d to the 12th over 7d to the 8th. 14 divided by 7 is 2. My bases are the same, so I have d. 12 minus 8, which is 4. Okay. You're often going to see a situation where they have multiple exponents. You want to make sure that you're keeping your stuff very organized, okay? So first I'm going to multiply my coefficients. So 3 times negative 2 times negative 4. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 4 is positive 24. Now I have both x's and y's, so I'm going to focus on the x's first. So I have x to the fourth, x to the fifth, and then x. So I'm going to go 4 plus 5 plus 1. Okay, 4 plus 5 plus 1, which is going to get me 10. I have no y's in this one, but I have a y squared and another y, so that's going to get me y to the third power. So my whole answer would be 24x to the 10th y cubed. Okay. All right, last example I'm going to do with you is number 8 here. So 72x to the 5th, y to the 4th, over 12xy. And we know 72 divided by 12 is going to get me 6. So I'm going to have a 6 up here. Okay. And x to the 5th over x means I'm going to be subtracting them. So I'm going to have x to the 4th power. I have y4 over y to the 4th power over y. So I'm going to subtract those. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So y cubed. All right. All right, if you want to practice doing some of these other examples that I've provided here for you, be my guest. I think it would be a good idea so you feel comfortable with this concept. Otherwise, that's all I have about rules of exponents.